Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Spill Sesh. I felt the need to make this video. I want to give a trigger warning before we get into anything. There is going to be talk about violence and blah, and I just don't want to get into that without anybody knowing what we're talking about. We're talking about James Charles and Corinna Kopp, Danielle Kahn, Avani, a bunch of TikTok influencers, YouTubers, Instagram influencers have been doing this TikTok trend called the mugshot challenge. When I first started seeing the mugshot challenge, it was actual influencers or people on TikTok making TikToks of them revealing their actual mugshot. Like they were arrested, had a mugshot taken, and they were just kind of like owning up to like, yeah, that happened to me, that's in the past. I don't know how it transpired into influencers just faking a mugshot and putting some makeup on, but that is what it came to, and there has been some drama surrounding these fake makeup mugshot looks. And basically what this is you get all raggedy and do your makeup like you got into a fight, and you just take a photo of yourself and the caption is mugshot. Once James Charles did this, a lot of people were coming for him, and they were saying that he was making fun of or glorifying victims who have gotten a black eye. Now, I want to be very clear about the situation. There are two different types of arguments happening here. People are either upset about the trend as a whole, or people are upset just about the makeup. So let me start off by saying I don't like this trend. I don't support this trend. This trend is terrible. Nobody should have taken part in this trend. It's just ridiculous. I also understand that people that started this trend, probably kids, they don't know any better. That started on TikTok. They're bored at home in quarantine and they just decided to do a fun special effects makeup look, and this is what it turned into. So I think something that we can all agree on is that faking going to jail or faking a mugshot is nothing to be made lightly, because the criminal justice system, at least here in the US, is not very good, and a lot of people go to prison and they are locked up for literally life, and they are completely innocent. So because of all of that, it is super ignorant for a lot of these privileged influencers to be posting photos pretending like they're going to jail and have it be something fun and cute and like a little challenge. At the same time, it's pretty confusing to say that these photos are offensive, but we allow people to dress up as prisoners for Halloween. That's very confusing, I think, to explain to a child on TikTok why they can't make a mugshot challenge video or post a mugshot challenge Instagram photo. I get that it's a holiday, a fun holiday, you dress up and it's, all good and fun, but isn't that still offensive? I want to have an open discussion in the comments down below, so let me know. Also, I just want to say, I'm not trying to be annoying or nitpick the situation. I'm trying to tell you guys every single angle I've seen online of ways people are hating either the challenge or just James Charles, period. I'm also trying to give you every single comeback I've seen, like the Halloween thing or stuff we're going to talk about later. There's a lot of things that people have said, well, what about this? What about that? I just want to tell you guys every single angle and lay it all out, because I want to have a nice conversation down below in the comments about every single possible way we could explain why this is bad or why you don't find it offensive, because not everyone is finding this offensive. Some people are literally ill thinking about the fact that James Charles participated in this challenge. Some people are only upset at James Charles for doing this challenge. Some people are upset at everyone for doing this challenge. Some people obviously only mad about the makeup. Some people are mad about the mugshot aspect. Some people are thinking that others are taking it too far by getting offended by this. I just want to be able to talk about it with you guys. These photos did trigger a lot of people who have experienced some horrible things in their life, and that is something that is being argued as well, that the makeup looks that they are doing were very offensive and triggering to a lot of people. I'm so sorry that anybody has ever had to experience that, and it's a horrible thing to get triggered and upset and just relive all those emotions and feelings and be brought back to that place because you saw this. It is important to note that was not the intention, and although that wasn't the intention, it did cause harm to a lot of people, and that is upsetting and it is very sad. I know a lot of people don't understand triggers and they think that people are just overreacting or they're stretching this whole situation, but you can't control your triggers but I do believe it is important to note that James Charles was not trying to, none of these influencers were trying to make fun of anybody that has been through a situation like this. They weren't trying to make a light of anybody that has ever been hurt or gotten a black eye. That was not the intention here. That was not what the challenge was. So sorry that people were hurt by this. You cannot invalidate other people's feelings. If they were triggered by something, they were triggered by something. And I do believe that people have questions. How is this okay, but this isn't okay? And I think these questions are important and shouldn't be taken as trying to invalidate people's feelings, because there's a lot of kids out there who are doing this challenge and they need to understand what they're doing and how they need to be more careful and more aware of things that they're doing that can possibly hurt other people or startle other people or hurt other people. I said it on Twitter and I'm going to say it here. If you're going to be mad about James Charles doing this challenge, you have to get mad at everybody as well. I know a lot of people are saying that James Charles should be, canceled for this because he has a child audience. And honestly, I see a lot more adults upset and triggered by him doing this challenge more than kids. Kids don't really understand what this even is. They think it's all good and fun. And yes, James has a large audience. He shouldn't influence people to continue doing this challenge, but he isn't the only one with a large audience doing this. I mean, everyone here. I just showed you Lauren Gray. She has 42 million TikTok followers. She has 19 million followers on Instagram. This is way more followers than James Charles has, and her audience is young children as well. I don't see anyone coming for her as hard as they were coming for James Charles, let alone at all before James Charles started getting called out. Corinna, her audience is like the Vlog Squad and older guys. And then we've got Danielle and Avani, 15 and 17 million on TikTok. It's not just James with the big audience. Yes, he has a big name. Yeah, it's a more recognizable name because he's in the news a lot. Let's talk about something that James Charles brought up, and that is The Weeknd. So James Charles did come out and he did talk about the fact that he was just trying to understand the situation. When you are as big as James Charles and you're getting attacked for something that you posted, James gets hate every day. He gets hate all the time. And after Dramageddon, it was consistent that anything that he did, including breathing, would get him hate. So when he gets called out for stuff, he really needs to know and find out, is this something that people are just hating on me for because they don't like me? Or is it something that I truly need to apologize for? It's very hard to decipher sometimes when you get hate all the time, what really you need to own up to and what you don't. So he's trying to understand the situation and how people were turning a mugshot into him making fun of victims. So he came out on Twitter and he said, genuine question, The Weeknd's new album shows him bleeding with a broken nose and with bruises. Yet I haven't seen a single tweet about him glorifying violence or. Can someone please explain how it's any different? I'm really trying to understand. Now, like I said, we already addressed the mugshot period, the trend, not cute, going to jail, not cute. We're only talking about the makeup here. So The Weeknd's album shows him bloody and beaten and smiling. And the next photo is a photo from him performing on Saturday Night Live on TV with the nose thing on his face and with the makeup and everything. Now, I remember when The Weeknd was performing on SNL, people on Twitter were not understanding what was going on. They didn't get the vibe. They didn't know this was the theme of his album, and they were concerned. They were like, what happened to The Weeknd? What happened to his face? And a lot of people have been saying the same about James. Well, how are we supposed to know this was a trend? He didn't say it was a trend. Just like how you could scroll past James Charles' photo and be concerned about him, the same thing was happening to The Weeknd while performing on SNL. I think James does have a point that if people are going to call out doing this type of makeup as like a fun art, you also have to consider other people that are doing it as fun art as well. And does that mean that, The Weeknd is going to get canceled too? He wants to understand how his makeup look is offensive, but The Weeknd's look is not offensive because nobody was calling him out for specifically making light of. Do you guys agree that The Weeknd's makeup look is just as offensive as James's makeup look? And mind you, people were upset because you would scroll on Instagram and just see James's photo with no warning. But at the same time, The Weeknd, his photo his album cover, it's getting promoted on billboards all around. His album is getting promoted on Apple Music, Spotify homepages, sidebars of websites, you name it, you guys. It's getting promoted, and it's not like a trigger warning is coming up before his photo is shown. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that there are people that actually do make fun and make light situations, and they don't seem to be called out like James Charles. There are a bunch of different videos on YouTube. I gave my son a black eye to see how his mom would react. Boyfriend gave me a black eye prank on my big brother. She got a black eye prank on our parents. I gave my sister a black eye prank on husband. These videos have millions, thousands of views and likes, and they're not getting called out for being triggering or messed up. And they are out here actually making light. It's not funny. But for some reason, James Charles is the one that is going to get called out the most for doing something like this. I know that people are going to say, well, apparently James Charles changed his caption. Yes, apparently his caption originally was him saying, I commented punch me too many times. And if you guys don't know, commenting punch me on like a hot person's Instagram is like the new you're hot comment. I really don't know. I don't get it. But I know he was just trying to be funny, and even in that, it wasn't cute. He said he immediately changed it when he realized that wasn't a good caption. But, you know, I still just don't think that the intent was to trigger anyone or make fun of anyone, and this whole thing has just gotten out of hand. I love you guys, and I hope that you kind of get the scope of everything that's going on and understand that I'm not taking a side here. I'm just trying to explain to you that yes, I see why the trend is messed up. Yes, I see why James Charles could have triggered people, but also I see that it wasn't his intentions. I feel like this video is a mess. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I will talk to you in the next video. Stay safe. I love you. Bye.